All right, we're back again. We're going to be brewing two beers today. One is a mango pale ale, one is a session beer. The first beer we're going to do is a session at 5.25 gallons. Waiting for Rob to show up with the grains, but we got our hot liquor tank going. We're looking at a temperature initially at 168, so when we transfer the water to the grains, it will basically drop it down to about 154, 153. We're going to maintain that for about an hour, and then we're going to move it into the kettle and start our boil. All right, we're just waiting on Rob. All right, this is Mark. Rob, he's going to pour the grains into the mash tun. And we're going to get ready to transfer the water. All right. Here we go. Now we're going to transfer our water. That makes sense, 4 gallons. This is where your mash table is. Basically, you want to keep all the grains wet. This recipe calls for about 4 gallons of water for your mash water. I'm just going to let that drain in there. You just want to keep your grains wet. Mark, you want to hold this for a second? We put the grains in, we put the water in. Now we're going to stir them up for the first time and close the lid. You want to maintain the temperature, close the lid, maintain the temperature. You want to get the grains all wet and mixed up. There's a big clump right there. See that? You don't want that. Yeah, it's clumping so much. See how that dry right there? Just a little more water. Yeah, just a touch more water. That big clump right there. Yeah, get me up to exactly 5. I'll tell you when. Well, in next month. This is all kind of like one of those things where you kind of go with what they say, but you just really want the grains to be completely wet. So, all right, we've dumped in our mash. It's mashing right now. We've got our timer going in about 20 minutes. We're going to go ahead and stir it up again. Mark right now is adding more water to the hot liquor tank so we can have sparge water. And I'll join you when we're sparging. All right. What we're going to do now, we've reached our 60-minute mark on the steeping, and we're going to start sparging. We're going to get our first runnings right now. Okay, go ahead over here. And what we're trying to do here is get rid of the cloudiness of the mash. So here we go, Mark. Go ahead, keep going. We're going to keep going until we see clear beer. Or clearer beer, or this gets hot and I got to pour it back in. We're going to keep doing this until we get a clear looking fluid coming out. Go ahead and stop it for a second. Hold on. We're going to pour it right back into the mash tun. Try not to disturb the grain bed too much. All right, let's go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What we're trying to do is get a clear, we're not seeing sediment come through right here. We're getting pretty close. This is so your wort's clear, you don't get a lot of this extra grain pieces, which can cause off flavors. Yeah, we're pouring it back on the top. We're trying to get a clear wort. And we're getting there. Yeah, wort blocking. Okay, go ahead and shut it down. Do one more time. Oh, shut it down first. Shut it down first. Don't want to lose any of this. All right, let's do it again. You're also coming off. That's one of the reasons why we want to do that. These hoses won't stay on there when they heat up, so you gotta be real careful. In fact, I usually put a zip tie on it. That looks pretty good. All right, go ahead and shut it off. All right, now you can lift the lid off the keg, put that hose down in there, and just drop it in there. Okay? Open it. And open it up. And what we're doing is we got it done with our first runnings. Yeah, you want to make sure everything's shut. I made sure of that. Okay? So we got our first runnings done. Now we're putting our sweet wort into the keg. We're going to let that grain bed settle down in the mash tun, and then we'll start sparging to get our volume. Okay? And we're looking for about 7.5 gallons. Okay, so we're in the middle of sparging. We've got our first runnings in our pot, and we're running some water into here, trickling it in. The slower you go, the more sugars you're going to get out of it, the more attenuation you'll have. So we're going real slow, keeping about a 1/4 inch of water on top of the grains and making sure they stay compacted. So we're moving it around, not creating any holes, getting down in there. All right, we did have a stuck sparge just a little bit ago. All you got to do, put a little sparge water in, do another first runnings, pour that back into the pot, and you'll get it unstuck. We've achieved our sparging. It's completed. We've taken a sample from our kettle. Let me move around this way. We've taken a sample from our kettle. We put it in our freezer, cool it down to 60 degrees so we can check the OG following the mash so we can see how much percentage we got from the grains. We're boiling. We put our hops in. Not going to give you that number. This is Rob's recipe, but we put our hops in it, and we're going to go for about a 90-minute boil on this one. Okay. We're also setting up another keg up here, and we're going to start the second recipe right now. We're heating the water up. We're going to put the grains in the mash tun after I clean it, and we're going to start the 10-gallon batch. All right. Okay. We've completed our boil. And now we're using our wort chiller to chill down our wort to the right temperature. Kind of comes around here, down into this cooler, which is full of ice with a little bilge pump. And it's just pumping cold water up and bringing back the hot water back into the bucket. All right, we'll be pitching our yeast here pretty soon.